feel like we usually spend 20 minutes like bullshitting, and
Well,
it feels weird doing this without a live chat there.
It's tough to not have a natural bring-in point when the fact that we're not streaming it this week. We can't just start a conversation, see that the clock has said time, and just start going in the middle of what we've got. Since we're just recording this, it's tough to make this sound natural.
It feels artificial, like a robot.
Yeah, there's no natural segue for us to just turn to the camera and say, hello, and welcome to the Team 4-Star FMK for My Hero Academia.
Woo!
Or unnatural segue, as is more often the case.
Yes.
Because by that point, we're usually, okay, stream of consciousness. That's orange. Pumpkins are orange. Halloween is soon. That's a series of movies starring Mike Myers, who is Shrek. Go.
There's a green character in My Hero Academia, and she has camouflage.
Yes.
She does have camouflage now, so is she still green even when she's invisible?
No.
Okay.
All right.
Well,
Science.
that's our My Hero Academia section. See you next week.
I love it when we record these.
Yep. Just bang, bang, bang. Let's.
There's all the top
It was,
points.
it was remarkable. I think the last one was like 13 minutes long.
Yeah, no, that sounds about right. Which is why we're not streaming this today, because Kieran's got the con crud. Oh, it's sad.
Kieran died.
Yeah, he's dead, and everything's canceled except for this.
We've scheduled his respawn, but he just won't be here for a little bit.
Yeah, and he's gonna lose all those souls.
Blood echoes, please.
From the bonfire.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay. All right. Yeah.
The bonfire of the vanities.
Yes. The very same. Speaking of vanity,
Yes.
things open up with Earthquake Boy running out and be like, "Don't worry, guys, I got this. Everybody stand back." Runs up to try and stop Gang Orca with his earthquake vibrations, and boom, pow, Gang Orca's there. He's like, "Oh, you sent one hero to stop an army? You guys don't know how to divide."
Yeah, no, it's a really cool shot too, because Gang Orc is up in his face before he even realizes.
Yep. So I did do the thing that I do
yes.
here in
Yeah, yeah.
episode
Your
59.
outline. Sorry, I jumped
Yes.
into being
No,
on
that's-
topic. I'm sorry.
Hey, it's weird. It's a weird day for all of us. In episode 59, Windy Lad and Icy Hot have trouble cooperating against Gang Orca. It turns out that Icy Hot's dad wouldn't sign an autograph for Windy Lad. Then they learn the true meaning of friendship or something and do a dope combo attack. Deku jumps in to finish the job, but just then the buzzer sounds, the last of the civilians have been evacuated, and the test is over. The results will be announced next week. Cliffhanger, suckers!
So, the quick aside. So it shows all the names at the end.
Does it? Okay.
Yeah,
So if you know how to read,
yeah, that's the thing that kind of threw me off. I'm like, wait a second. If you freeze frame that, you can go back and find out.
so you know the result. Well, you did
I
because
mean,
of the
well,
manga,
yeah.
but
Actually, no, because the Japanese do what they always do with names and put all the kanji up there. So I'm like, oh shit, okay.
all right.
So I not only would I like if it were hiragana and katakana, I'd be able to tell you who won and who lost just by reading it. Now I'm just gonna be able to tell you who won and who lost because I'm, a
You've read
manga
ahead.
reader. So
I did notice in the subtitled Crunchyroll version, which is the version that I'm accustomed to, I don't know if they're still doing the simuldub thing, but the subtitles said, and here are all the names in syllabic order.
Yeah.
And just reminding you, like, oh yeah, we have passed the point where we're trying to pretend that this Japanese shit ain't in Japanese.
yeah, I'm
Oh,
curious.
yeah.
I'm curious if they're just going to address that in the dub, like if they're going to say that, or if they're just going to Americanize it with like, and we're in alphabetical order. It's just like D,
you can't
D,
fucking tell.
and then I just want Deku being confused at okay, where's D?
Yeah, and of course, at the end he's like me, just frantically searching.
But yeah, I liked this episode, though your pause there with the they seem to hate each other, but now they seem okay.
Yeah. Seems
Wordlessly solving our current dilemma.
Yeah, I think this is another one of the further issues that in the manga this pacing just seemed just fine. Like it seemed like at the very last second they're like, shit, we've got to do something, and it just works out. Here it does kind of feel like they kind of rushed to this big thing.
I think it's because they don't actually talk and figure out their problems. They just sort of independently at the same time decide, you know what, this is dumb. We should be working together.
For me, I feel like they really build up Wind Guy's hatred. They spend a solid amount of time doing a flashback of I loved heroes. I loved everything. Heroes were the coolest. And then I saw this one hero who was a jerk, and I realized that hey, some people aren't the passionate things I think they should be. And then like there's this whole long thing. He like has the argument, and then they're both just like, oh wait, no, we should be friends.
It's not friends.
Well, okay,
Like, I would
we
not
should
say-
work together.
Yeah. Actually, it's kind of weird because you might talk about it as kind of a petty thing, but that's actually one of the reasons I like My Hero Academia, is that a lot of the conflicts between people are these very simple interactions that kind of jar their worldview, and then since they don't usually have anybody to kind of course correct them, it kind of falls, it kind of snowballs a little bit, because by the time he meets Shoto, by the time he meets Shoto, he's like already gotten over the stuff with Endeavor for the most part, but once it happens with his son, he just doubles down. He can't take it anymore, and he could have gotten into UA, and I think the reason he didn't go to UA was because of Todoroki. He's like, nope, after I've seen like how you act, I'm not going to join your school. So I found that interesting. It's kind of like with Bakugo. The crux of Bakugo's hatred for Deku just comes down from this one real incident where
We could probably talk about this and get over it and maybe start things fresh, but this has just gotten so deeply embedded into how I feel about you, it's not going away.
Yeah. And I kind of like that because, that in your formative years, that shit happens. Like, you have this interaction, and again, since nobody course corrects you, you kind of just run away with it.
I don't know. I'm an Army brat. I moved every 3 years, so my entire social circumstance got a big reboot just about as often as DC Comics.
I can say first impressions don't matter that much because my best friend through most of like elementary school, middle school, and high school, the first time I met him, he kicked dirt on me and I hated him. So, but then I realized he lived right down the street from me and I was like, well, we live out in the middle of nowhere, so I'm going to hang out with whatever kid is close by. It turned out we really liked each other. Just, that first time we met sucked.
Yeah.
Oh, man. You got it. You made out better than I did. When I was a kid, being an Army brat, I spent a lot of time on military bases in places like Germany where there was one other kid your age who spoke your language. Like, okay, I guess we're best friends.
Here we are.
You're a fucking asshole, but okay. And that also, when we move back to the States, I'm over here like, wait, I have to try to make friends? I'm not just like your friend by default
here?
without needing to do anything. I have to learn not to be an asshole? Shit.
Oh, no. Now there's effort involved.
Yeah, there's a reason why my two best friends in high school were another Army brat and an Air Force brat.
All right.
And I didn't know this. It was like we had an invisible mark on our foreheads that only we could see.
We all knew, but no one else did.
Yeah.
Yeah. Also, we got to see some cool animation here. The whole wind fire thing looked really cool. Gangork continues to just kind of be this big, imposing, badass looking like hero, being the villain. And I dig on him. I just dig his whole design, his whole aesthetic.
Oh, he's great. You forget for long stretches,
Yeah.
like, oh no, he's a good guy. This is just a test.
Yeah.
Because he plays the part to the hilt.
Yeah. I love how he grabs Todoroki by the freaking neck, and he's like, oh man.
I love how mad he gets because it's like a very like kind of audience surrogate moment of where he's just like, you would do this in the middle of a test, and just starts kicking the shit out of him. Midoriya shows up for a second and is just like, what are you doing? And basically has the same feeling of like, are you crazy? This is not the time.
Yeah. I love how it's such a setup too, where the sleepy dude, he's all like, you put your these two best schools put their two strongest guys out to hold off Gang Orca. Good move. Solid move. Nope. Nope.
Turns out there was a big tactical error in the whole personality division.
Yep, showing you once again these things don't happen in a vacuum. And that's one of the things that I love about all of this is that, oh yeah, technically on paper, put these guys out there, they should synergize and beat this guy. But no, turns out conflicts of interest.
Yeah, well, and I imagine that's a situation they will be called upon to face as they're dealing with situations with maybe guys from different agencies who they've never worked with before.
Yeah, I have a crazy feeling that this probably this tension between these two isn't totally done yet. I think this is just we're getting a peek at what they're going to need to work on.
Yeah, I mean, I had my goof about, they learned about friendship. No, they learned not to have their arguments right in the middle of a supervillain fight.
Yeah, and we also get a look at Todoroki's kind of like his inner monologue with he's like, no, I squashed my hatred for my dad. Well, wait a second. No, I kind of just set it aside. That's different than getting over it.
Yeah.
I'm going to need to address this at some point. I can't just keep ignoring it because just hearing him be mentioned made me hesitate, and that's a problem.
Yeah, it's kind of interesting because Todoroki has to kind of deal with his past now. He's had a lot of hatred, he's been kind of an asshole. And it's only now, he thinks that just because he got over it, like just because he made steps, everything's okay, and it's not. It's a cool thing. It's nice to see in shonen because often a lesson is learned and then never touched on again.
Yeah, and it's one of those things where, like, at first I was kind of disappointed because in my mind, my immediate thought was we already went over this. We covered this when you fought Midoriya in the one tournament. Like we've covered this ground. And then this happens, and it, with how big and bombastic that resolution was back then, this didn't feel like it lived up to it. But I also think that's kind of important because usually the first step is the biggest and hardest. So, and then after that, it's just incremental improvements. This one was, oh yeah, I should probably not freak out about this at the drop of a hat. Whoops, I got to get myself back in line, which isn't nearly as dramatic as, okay, I'll use this power I've been refusing to use because I hate my old man so much.
Yeah.
So yeah, it feels like this episode was a lot of big bombast, a lot of spectacle, which, real good spectacle. The character underpinnings behind it were maybe slightly underserved, but yeah, I don't know what else there is. Like, Sue can do camo shit now. That's real good.
That's real cool. I like that a lot. I like that hair dude kind of came in with the wind guy really embarrassed our school. And as other guy kept mentioning, we all wear these hats to say that every action we take is a part of our school. So on behalf of that idiot, I'm real sorry. Here's me doing cool stuff with hair.
I love how, I think it was Kaminari, he's like, he's strong, and Sue's like, yep.
My question, I know we see at the end that Bakugo, Kaminari, and Kamoshida are all escorting that couple back. I am really surprised that a villain's here, we need people to fight him, and Bakugo didn't turn over and do that because he did not seem to be doing anything essential when we peek back in on him. I'm real curious if if that will be addressed later because kind of moving ahead a little bit, the preview for the next episode is Bakugo being like, yo, Deku, I need to talk to you. So I don't know if he spent this just going, I'll get points making sure these guys get home safely so I can spend this time mulling over a conversation I'm going to need to have. Because I find it really weird that Bakugo is usually the first to run towards a fight because he knows that's what he's good at. And it seems like with his power set, it also would have made sense for him to be there. So it's really weird that he never made an effort, or we never see him make an effort to go there.
Without spoiling anything, they do touch on it.
Okay, good.
Episode. Yeah, there's a bit of dialogue in there that they even juxtapose the situation going on. I was like, wow, I don't know if this was in the manga, but he kind of goes over the situation. It's a blink and you'll miss it sort of thing. But he does talk about prioritization, and it shows Bakugo. So stay tuned to the next episode. Funny enough, so we've talked about this arc up until now. We're actually about to get into the part that I'm excited about. This is everything up to this has been cool and neat and interesting, and I like these big tests, but there hasn't been a lot of emotional stakes. What's about to happen next is my favorite part of this arc, actually. So,
but other than that, yeah, I found the ending a little bit anticlimactic because just as Deku is jumping in, oh man, this shit's about to get going. Nope.
Well, I think
ding, ding, ding.
I'm kind of okay with them blue balling us there because I feel like we have, that. One, knowing that this season doesn't have much more to work with. I feel like we've only got 3-4 episodes left. I think
2.
Oh wow. Okay, so even less. So yeah, I understand why they wouldn't go into all right, it's time for full-on fight time. Let's see how 3-on-1 Gang Orca. Let's go. Since we've already had, I feel like multiple instances of basically that happen throughout this season. I think it's okay for us to take one and be like, and you're done. We're going to stop this before it really gets to start going, and we give you the little tidbit of Gang Orca being like, if that had gone on, I would have lost. Those three working together, and actually synergizing would have been a big problem.
Yeah.
Well, especially with Todoroki there and Gang Orca specifically being weak against something that might
Drying
dehydrate
out.
him.
Yeah.
Like he's got his little squirt bottle. It's sort of amazing that
Worked at all.
Yeah, at all, let alone over a sustained period.
I like the fact that these kids aren't professionals, but if you have 3 of them together, they can take on a pro hero, and that really goes to show the kid from Shiketsu, he's overpowered. Like both he and Todoroki smashed the record in that race, and that was something I missed the first time. Like, oh damn, yeah, cleared it by 3 whole minutes. That's nuts.
Yeah.
So those two have just amazing quirks, which is again indicative of generations growing stronger over time. And Todoroki was literally bred
I was
to
going
be.
to say, Todoroki's a science experiment to try and make the best quirk.
Yeah. But you put the 2 of them up against each other, and also Todoroki and Midoriya, who have had actual on-field combat experience, and it's kind of neat to see. Like, as much as I still want them to be in progress, it is cool to see. No, these guys are good. These kids are good. There's a reason that they sent out Gang Orca, because you have Aizawa in the stands going like, this would be tough for an actual pro hero, much less a bunch of heroes in training. But when they come together, they're able to really. It's just cool. I'm happy to see it.
I like Gang Orca's sound blast attack. I think that's a neat thing, even though it doesn't make a ton of sense. But I'm okay with it. It's just them being like, he can do everything a whale do, but on land. And I'm like, so be big and have sharp teeth. I guess they've got the sound stuff.
I mean, whales sing. I don't know that.
Do they have echolocation? I feel like that was always a dolphin thing that I heard.
They have sonar.
Okay.
Okay.
Yeah,
All right.
Yeah. I don't know how. I'm not sure how an orca trains its sonar to destroy ice. That's kind of.
Yeah, that seems pretty crazy. It's really intense vibrations.
Yeah.
Which then Vibration Guy gets to come back with, yo, I get rattled every day by using my power. Like, that hurt. That caught me off guard, but my brain's ready to go.
I also
Just my hands and legs are all tingly.
I also love how he's like, yeah, and by the way, I was planning on a surprise attack, and then those assholes got in the way. and then Midoriya, who hasn't seen the side of him, was like, whoa, dude, well, that come from? Jeez.
Easy.
Yeah.
Yep.
So, yeah.
But, yeah, I mean, in case we still need to do this bit with the cards, here you go. Here's your
Yeah.
eggplant.
For formality's sake.
Yeah. Nah, I'm really happy that we finally got to this point, because this was the big climax. The big emotional stuff will work differently for I think the stuff with Todoroki and I wish I could remember his name, Wind Dude.
Yeah.
It will be effective depending on the relationships that you've had in the past, like the experiences you've had, as will happen with any story about 2 human people interacting with each other. It's always going to bounce differently off of people. But I actually really enjoyed this story, and I like how it played out. And again, really flashy ending there, which I've been looking for in this. We haven't gotten as many big flashy scenes in this arc as we usually do.
I'm really looking forward as a big Bakugo fan. It's looking like he's going to get hopefully some very serious some emotional baggage / development in this upcoming episode. So I'm amped for this weekend to see what that's going to be about, because I've been wanting the confrontation of, yo, I figured you out, and as a big All Might fan, we're gonna have some words, Deku. And I've been looking forward to that basically since the beginning of this series. So really glad that seems to be what they're hinting.
Yep. Well, we will see next week, and we will see you next week. Thanks for stopping by.
Also, my prediction, I think they all failed.
Yep. Everybody.
Oh yeah, no, the entire school.
Yep.
Yeah. I think we've seen instances of each of them having major point losses, so I think it's just going to be, and none of you passed. You stupid first years, you weren't going to pass. Laying that down now.
Trying to think who I think might actually have like, if only one person passed, who would it be?
Mineta.
Yeah. Right.
Yeah. Let
he-
Mineta pass.
Turns out he was over here just holding it down when you
doing
weren't
everything
looking.
exactly as he should. We see him panic in that one scene, and we show that because that's the only moment he is not on fire the whole test.
Well, we'll find out next week. See you guys.